Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Upgrade to the home of your dreams with Manny and Courtney from CMK Construction. CMK Construction is Tampa's award-winning kitchen and bath leader for over 20 years. Right now, save $3,000 on a new kitchen and $2,000 on a new bathroom. And take advantage of our no money down and no interest financing until 2026. Imagine, design, build.
Streaming from the Tampa Bay 28 Weather Center in Studio A. This is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by CMK Construction, crafting Tampa's most exquisite bathrooms and kitchens.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Friday evening edition of Dennis Phillips Live, and as is usually the case when there is any kind of weather going on, we got a lot of folks in the house, and we are everywhere. We are on Insta, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on The Spot. Watching right now as I glance over, yep, we are on TV on 66.1 as well as on cable. The official broadcast partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and you may have not heard this, but Bolts, they have an outdoor hockey game on Sunday. Have you heard about it? Maybe once or 1,000 times. And I'll say it again, for the first time in 16 years, we are going to have a forecast this cold. And the day that the Bolts are playing hockey outside will be the coldest day we have seen since 2010. I mean, the hockey gods must favor the Tampa Bay Lightning. Because I don't know about you, but I remember I was sitting right here and I heard the story. The anchors were talking about when the Stadium Series was announced and we were going to play an outdoor game. And I'm like, literally, I think I said, are you kidding me? That ice is going to be nothing but a puddle. If it was last Saturday when we had 85 degrees, that's what would have happened. But good life choices clearly helped out, and they are going to have temperatures in the 30s. If you go into the game on Sunday, you're going to be colder there, especially in the 300s. I mean, those aren't cheap seats either, by the way. You're up in the 300s, the wind's going to be blowing a little bit, it's going to be in the 30s. You're going to be questioning your life choices as well. But you will be at the event. So look, here's what we got going. I know there's people here who aren't normally here. Matter of fact, I'm looking at the comments. Lori Rodriguez, I've not heard from you in 25 years. The city of Winter Haven is in the house. I shared one of their posts from earlier on today, hysterical stuff. And we obviously have a lot of stuff to talk about. Now, before we get into the specifics, I do want to share a couple of thoughts for the folks who are new. Because if you're watching on the spot, maybe you're flipping channels and you're looking for the Lightning game and, there's no Bolts game. What the heck is that guy doing on my TV wearing his blue hoodie? Again, this is the way this show works. We are live on TV, but at the same time, we are on my computer over here. We are streaming on Instagram. We are streaming on YouTube. We are streaming on Facebook. This is an interactive show. It is not just me talking, although that's what it appears to be, and it often is when I go on these old tangents. But if you are here just looking for weather, this ain't your show. Just saying, it just ain't, all right? We go in so many different directions. The conversation is mostly led by you. Right on here, I'll see a comment that shows up on here and I'll just go with it. Or the conversations that y'all have between each other while I'm talking about something entirely different. So that often can be the case if there's no weather. But we do have a lot of weather to talk about. And we are going to do just that, all right? I know, first and foremost, a lot of y'all are here saying, I want to see some snowflakes. All right, if you were to pin me down right now and say, Dennis, do you think that there will be snowflakes, snow flurries in some way, shape, or form in the Bay Area tomorrow, or is this just a bunch of hooey? I think it's going to happen. I think the models have been trending up as opposed to down, and the problem or the issue or the challenge is maybe the better word. The challenge we run into is, how do you know if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a noise? We could have that conversation for a long time. And we are a big area. So what if it snows in mid-Hernando County or northeastern Pasco or areas where there might not be anybody right there? This is where I'm going to depend on you, because I'm going to tell you right now, there are some naysayers out there. There are some Debbie Downers. And I'm not talking about the cold air, because we all know the cold air is a serious thing, and that's something I really want to get into about how to protect yourself. Because as Floridians, and I also hear, there's a lot of folks from up north, oh, you know what, it's always been this cold. I don't know what the big deal is. Because you lived up north. You didn't live down here. Now you live down here. So you got to realize that there's a lot of folks that have never seen a snowflake in their life. So you know what? Keep it to yourself. We don't want to hear it, because there are people who would love to see a little bit of snow. Now, granted, that's probably all we would see, best case scenario, is a little bit of snow. But for folks who have never seen it, I cannot tell you how many messages I've gotten from people saying, I want my kids to see snow. They've never seen it. Where can I go? The answer is, I don't have a clue, because it could be anywhere in the Bay Area. But my point is, again, you got some of these Mets out there who are trying to be Debbie Downers and trying to be all sciencey and telling us why it's not going to happen. Don't want to hear it. Because in terms of the science, we all know there are times that Mother Nature gets the best of us. And in this particular case, the models are pretty bullish and continue to be so on the chance of snow. All right? Well, look at it. So this is a look at the blend of models from NOAA. The latest one, right? And it has changed a little bit here and there. It is at times even showing some accumulation. I'm not going to rule that out, but I will tell you, I think it's very unlikely. Reasonably, I think anywhere in our viewing area, from Sarasota County all the way down, or all the way up to Citrus, I think there is a chance of flurries. I do. But here's the way you got to play this. Jules is right. I am going to be chasing this. Matter of fact, my daughter Ryan, which, by the way, I want to mention, I missed the 5 and 6 o'clock news today because my daughter Ryan had her first singing recital ever. And you know what? I wanted to talk about this, but I was not going to miss that recital. And for the record, I know I'm biased, but she knocked it out of the park. I recorded it as I'm racing here to try to get here for the end of the 6 o'clock news. I'm listening to it on my phone, and tears are streaming down my face because it was so good. And it just, it was amazing. So it reminds me of when The Devil Wears Prada, remember when Miranda was stuck in Miami and she wanted to get back to see her daughter's piano recital, and she couldn't because of a hurricane? She's like, it's just a little drizzle. I know that. I love that movie. Sequel comes out, by the way, in a few months. But point is, she desperately tried to get back to her daughter's recital and could not do so. I was not going to have that happen. So I missed the 5 and the 6. Unfortunately, my boss said it's okay. There's some things that are more important, like family. And I was very, very blessed to be able to see that and make it back in time for DPL. So let's go ahead and go back to what we were talking about right here. This is a look where this shaded area doesn't matter. The fact that the flow is coming in out of the northwest across the Gulf, this is classic Gulf effect pattern. Now, will it, and this is what it boils down to. I'm going to be honest. This is what it boils down to. It is a race. It is a race in terms of how fast will the cold air push in versus how fast will the moisture exit down to the south. Because y'all know probably the colder the air, the drier the air, right? So as we get colder and this air comes in from the northwest, the moisture will begin to dry out. So it's a race. Will we be cold enough in time for snow flurries or snow showers to make it down in our area before the moisture dries up? How much snow are we talking? Flurries. Probably not even sticking. Yes, some of the models say it could stick. I don't think it will. But we'll see. I hope it does. What percentage of the area? I'll show you in Futurecast in a couple of minutes. Not much. So my suggestion, which is what I'm going to do with my daughter, and she wants to bring a couple of her friends along with us as well, we're going to be looking at the radar. And we're going to be looking at the conditions, and I'm going to be posting about it on Facebook. And we will be literally, as things come in from the Gulf, we are going to make an attempt to go to where we think it's going to be snowing. If we can't make it to it, I depend on y'all to get video and show us what's happening. Because we need this as a group effort. Because I would love to shove this in the naysayer's face. Oh, well, you know, I don't think it's going to snow. Why are you taking it so seriously? The cold weather is a thing, and that we do need to talk about, and we will in depth. But who cares if we get a couple of snowflakes? If you are so hardened and jaded that you can't look at a few snowflakes and smile and think of the days when you ran around and stuck your tongue out and tried to catch the snowflakes on your tongue, or you lived in Florida and you've never had that opportunity, then I feel sorry for you. Because I am all into it, and I think a lot of other folks are, and we are going to share that joy on our social media platform. And if that ain't for you, totally respect it. Be on your way, all right? So that is where we are, all right? We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about the snow timing, and then we're going to get into the cold, because this cold is a real deal. And there are places that are going to need to run their spigots overnight, run their faucets overnight, because pipes freezing can be a thing when temperatures drop into the 20s. The wind chill has nothing to do with it. It can be, if the wind chill is 50 below zero, but the air temperature is 35 degrees, it ain't going to bother you. Wind chill is not the issue. It is for being outside. But for pipes freezing, and pool pumps and whatnot, it's all about the actual air temperature. And I do think we're going to go low 20s in many spots away from the coast. And that could mean big problems. And we'll talk about that coming up in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Okay, we are in a break. And BJ says, I'm going camping in New Tampa on Saturday. Should I bring blankets? Nah, you're good. You don't need blankets. Flip-flops, gym shorts, tank top. That's all you need. Nothing else. Rebecca, you have not missed anything. I've literally just, Emily, it's not that cold yet. Oh, it will be. Oh, it will be Sunday morning, but it isn't that cold yet. All right, we have 50 seconds left in this break. How cold at the game? Lee, it is going to be in the 40s and into the 30s by, the comments are gold, Mary. The comments are absolutely gold. It'll be in the 30s probably by the third period. And the rule is just simple, BJ, the rule is simply just leave it dripping a little bit. Just enough that it won't freeze. That's all you got to do, whether it's your indoor or your outdoor. Now, the outdoor ones are even more pertinent, I think. It depends on your insulation, too. So Debbie wants to know, is hurricane level ABC stock up or just boxed wine from Publix? Dean wants to know if you can open the windows. Absolutely. A little bit of fresh air is good for you. See, these comments are what makes this show what it is, and I love it. Oh, we're back. We're back from the break. The comments are awesome. If you're watching on TV, you are missing out because maybe by Friday, The sarcasm is just running thick because these comments are great. BJ says, I'm going camping. Do I need blankets? You think? I think you do. I did hear, Mark, that they postponed the Crooked Thumb Chili Cook-Off until next Saturday. I've heard that. The Kumquat Festival got postponed for Dade City tomorrow. We have had cancellations. Will we have school on Monday? That's the best one. Yes. Sunday morning is when it's going to be coldest. All right, let's go ahead and look at some of these graphics for you. We spent all this time. What did I say about the hockey game, Michael says? I said it will be dropping into the 30s by the second period. That is what I said. All right. Cindy wants to know how you keep your goldfish safe. Clearly, just, keep it inside. All right, here we go. Ren, how you doing? Rule number 7 hoodies are at the top of my Facebook page, and the proceeds always benefit local charities, for those who are asking. All right. Extreme cold watch, freeze watch, gale watch, those will all be transferred to warnings. All right, those will eventually become warnings. We have 3,200 folks on Facebook, and we are not freezing. This is beautiful. When the system actually works, it is a glorious thing. All right, so what does this mean for our area? It means the gale winds, which are 30 to 40, gusting up to 45 knots, will be mostly in the late morning through the middle evening hours. The winds will begin to subside by Sunday afternoon. It will not be tremendously windy for the game. And I was on Dave Mishkin's, I was on the Lightning's podcast today at noon, their lunch show that they have. And we were talking about that, and I found it interesting because they were asking me if the wind's strong out of the north, because remember that rink is going to go north to south, right? So the skaters actually have to skate into the wind. And there have been Stadium Series games where they actually switched in the middle of the period to even it up because the winds were so strong and it was such a disadvantage for one team and an advantage for the other. I thought that was kind of fascinating. The winds will be subsiding on Sunday. So if you are going to the game, it will be cold, layer, but you're not going to have to worry too much about wind. 300 levels, maybe. It's still going to be kind of breezy. But down at the ice level, the field level, should not be a big problem. All right? Pinellas County, you are not, areas in the light blue color there, you are not in a freeze warning. You are not in a freeze warning, okay? With that northwest flow, that should keep temperatures above freezing in Pinellas, western Manatee, and western Sarasota. Everybody else is in a freeze warning. Folks are asking me about whether or not, what about for the cold weather tips? It's real simple. If you have a pool pump, you want to run it. If you live in an area outside where it's going to be into the lower 20s, I strongly recommend just letting your faucets drip overnight, Saturday night. By 8 a.m. on Sunday morning, you're fine. Just a little drip. Doesn't have to be a steady flow, just a little drip. Outdoors and indoors. You also need to know where your main water shutoff is, because if you ignore these rules and your pipes burst, you'll want to be able to shut that water off immediately if you have to. So, simplest thing to do is let your faucets drip just a little bit, not tonight, tomorrow night into early on Sunday morning. All right? It's that simple. All right, so let's keep going. I'm already so heavy, I'm already behind on my brakes. I knew that would happen. I was talking to somebody today, and she said there were 2 weddings at the Don Cesar tomorrow and 1 on Sunday. And they're outdoor weddings on the water, and they are not going to bring them in. So individual questions I will answer after we're off TV. We still have another 10 minutes exactly that we're on TV and streaming. I do want to get to the actual forecast part of it for the TV folks if they have not switched over to social, which you should, because it's always hysterical. You guys crack me up. The comments here are amazing. All right, here we go. Futurecast. Here's what you've been waiting for. I'll tell you, Gasparilla is going to be an interesting day. It's going to be mostly cloudy. It's going to be in the mid to upper 50s early on. It isn't going to be that bitterly cold at Gasparilla to start. Mid-afternoon, the winds pick up and the temperatures start to drop. So while the parade is going on toward the end, it is still going to be, it's going to be picking up. But from the mid-morning on, it's going to be increasing, but not terrible. Say it again. If you are an inexperienced boat captain, there is no reason for you to be out on that water tomorrow. All right? 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, still some showers. But look by 5:30. The models are already beginning to show a changeover to a rain snow. Look at Central Pasco. You see it? That's at 5:30. Now, these are just, they're not even estimates. All this is this is telling you that the models are seeing this onshore flow, this Gulf effect flow, and then there will be no rhyme or reason to it, just like whack-a-mole. There will be some areas moving onshore. Will it be southwestern Pinellas like it's showing here? Will it be Pasco? Will it be Manatee? Could be any of them. But what I will tell you is, remember, the farther south the moisture is, the drier it gets in our northern areas. So you do notice some of the latest high-resolution data focuses a lot of this on areas from Pasco south. And that's just until 6 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Sunday's going to be sunny from mid-afternoon on. So you see, even through this is, okay, so look, this is 8 o'clock Sunday morning. There's 7:30. There's 7 o'clock Sunday morning, 6 o'clock Sunday morning. So you still see some of those showers coming in. But as I showed you, if you look at the other models, it's just pretty much areas from Citrus to Manatee, some scattered snow flurries. So that is where we are in terms of areas of accumulation. I doubt it. I'm not going to say it's impossible. Some of the models are saying we're going to get an inch of snow in a few spots. I've had questions about the roads. Will there be issues? No, there will not be. I've had questions about will there be freezing in the bridges? No, it will not. All right, this is not that kind of a system. For us, there might be 15%, 20% of the area that could pick up some light snow out of this. So if you want it, either you're going to luck out or you're going to have to go chase it. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to continue in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Holy cow, I am so heavy. Oh my, Brianna's like, I missed it. What did he say? Really nothing. I haven't really said much of anything over the last 21 minutes. I talked about people who want to be buzzkills and they're like, it's not going to snow. Or the people are like, oh, what's the big deal? It's snow. And the other people is like, oh, it's always this cold. All three buzzed. Because what happened to your joy in life when you could stick your tongue out and snow? If you've never done it, go watch a Charlie Brown's Christmas. The highlight of that entire show is the kids running around trying to catch snowflakes on their tongue. So don't be that guy, all right? Don't be the meteorologist who tries to be a buzzkill and, oh, well, I don't think it's good. Look, have a little fun. Enjoy. Relate to your viewers. See, that's another thing, you know? Trust me on this one. There's more people who would love to see a few snowflakes than wouldn't. And if you're 100% positive that it's not going to snow, hey, more power to you. I ain't that. That's not me, because I think there will be some flurries out there. I really do. All right. So, yes, I will be out there with my daughter. I definitely think we're going to be chasing. All right, we're back in 3, 2. So let's recap, all right? Let's recap. Do not go out on the water tomorrow if you're an inexperienced. Personally, I'm not even sure experienced boaters are going to want to challenge a gale warning. Earlier in the morning, it'll probably be okay. And you'll be like, this is fine, no big deal. It will not be okay by early afternoon. The winds are going to be rough. You're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of boats out there. It is not a good move, all right? Next, extreme cold on Sunday morning, all right? We have temperatures expected to be in, let's go and show them to you. Temperatures expected to be in the 20s, low 20s, with wind chills even colder, all right? If you're in an area that is expected to go down into the 20s. And here is 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. There it is. Low to mid 20s. Run your pool pump and let your faucet drip a little bit, outside and inside. If you forget to do it and your pipes freeze, know where your water shutoff is. That is the actual air temperature at 8 a.m. The wind chills will be, let's call them up. There's your wind chills. So let's see, that's wind chills between 10 and 15, Pasco County North. And even at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, wind chills in the lower 30s. So there it is. Somebody said, show me where Tampa is again. All right, there is a reason that they brought that up, and it's very funny. Because yesterday, I asked my daughter where she lives, and she pointed to Lake Okeechobee. So when the people are saying, what's it going to be like? Show me the cities on the map. That's what it was. Show me the cities on the map. All right, look, if you live in the Bay Area, you should know. Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Polk, Manatee, Sarasota, Hardy, DeSoto, Highlands. That is our viewing area, all right? And you can see where the potential snow is. All right, there it is. Okay, so one more break. We'll be back with the finish, and then we are going to continue answering questions, which they're always going to be. I know what they're all going to be. Is it going to snow in Brandon? Is it going to snow in Spring Hill? Is it going to snow in Brooksville? Is it going to snow 2 miles from Brooksville? Is it going to snow across the street from me? It's coming, and I'm here for you in 90 seconds as DPL continues. Okay, last 90-second break. It's just like hurricane season. I mean, it really was. When we did live hits and we had tens of thousands of viewers on hurricane season, every question, because I get it, you know, maybe geography was not your strength as a child. Maybe you didn't pay attention in school in geography class. I think that must be my daughter's issue. I don't know. Because I'll say it again. Ryan, where do you live? Where's Pinellas County? That's right here by the water, right? No, the water this is Lake Okeechobee. This is the Gulf. That's a much bigger body of water. Yeah, you know what, whatever. She can sing really good, though, so that's okay. So it makes up for everything else. And that's the other thing. You bring up a great point. Who was it? Someone just said, I prefer this to hurricane season. You and me both. Yes, Brian, the Waffle House will be open. Yes, it will be. When can you play golf again? Jamie wants to know. Tell you what, it's going to be cold all week long. All right, we're back in our last 10 seconds. Michael, how you doing? Yeah, it does. It feels like a hurricane 12 hours out. Christy's right. Back in 3, 2. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to our last quick segment of Dennis Phillips Live on the spot as well as streaming, but we will be continuing on Facebook. And some of the comments are, boy, this feels like hurricane coverage. And it does with the energy, if you will, the questions, the number of people. But let's recap one last time for our TV folks, all right? And I'll go ahead and show you the map for it. Let me call it up for you right here, all right? Real quick, we are going to be looking at freeze warnings for all areas except for the light blue. Gale warnings are going to be in effect for coastal areas, and wind chill advisories or extreme cold watch in effect with wind chills down to single digits on Sunday morning. We'll be updating throughout the night. Tomorrow, again, the cold is the biggest threat. The snow possibility, we're going to play it by ear, and we'll be chasing tomorrow. We'll be streaming live as we do it. Folks on the spot, have a good night. Okay, we are clear on TV. We are clear on streaming. So Sonia wants to know, I'm just going to start doing questions now. Sonia wants to know if there's going to be black ice. Probably not, because I don't think we're going to have enough precipitation for it to warrant that. It will be cold enough, but I think the amount of rain that we're getting is minimal. Now, if we pull a 1977 and we do have a few spots that get, here's something to remember. I should have talked about this on TV. This is kind of important. 1 inch of rain is 10 inches of snow, give or take, all right? So think how much rain we get in a brief rain shower in the summertime. Now, conditions are different, but the point is, even a little bitty rain shower where it might be 1/10 of an inch of rain would be 1 inch of snow. So I'm not saying we're going to get that, but I'm saying a quick little moderate rain shower could turn into a 5-minute snow squall. And in a 5-minute snow squall, you could get some minor accumulation and some slick spots. I'm not forecasting that. I do not believe that'll happen. But to quote Charlton Heston in Armageddon, it happened before, it will happen again. So in terms of this particular event, we have had snow back like this in 77 and a little bit of snow in 89, flurries. So, hey, it can happen. And the pattern certainly at this point shows there's at least a decent chance. That's it. If you were to pin me down and say, Dennis, do I think that any snow is going to stick? I would say no. There's the answer. 8 o'clock on the dot. I would say I don't think it's going to stick. Might, hope it does for a couple people, but I don't think it will. Dennis, do you think the coverage will be about 10 to 20%? Yes. I think ultimately, if there are flurries, and I think there will be, if there are flurries, it'll be small little cells, little blips, and they're going to race on through, and there's going to be, maybe 5 by 5, 5 miles by 5 miles, and that would be it. The overwhelming majority of our area will not see snow. It will not be on the roads, okay? That is what I'm going with right now. By the time I wake up tomorrow and the new model is going to be like 5 inches of snow. I don't think so. But point is, I do think there's a legit chance for some flurries out of this. So that's what we'll be talking about tomorrow. Lastly, they are going to get blizzard conditions in the Northeast. I mean, I'm telling you right now, areas in North Carolina, I don't know if Cruz Mike is here today, but these comments are just classic. So, and I should be reading these comments because they're way better. Sandy just said, if I run my AC in my car, can I make it snow? See, those are the kind of comments that I relate to. Those are the kind of comments that I find them entertaining. Oh, now someone just asked about antifreeze. Hey, that was a situation my daughter ran into when she, as a Florida girl. No, it was not my daughter, it was my son, who was a Florida guy. And they went on a road trip. When he graduated medical school, him and his fiance did a cross-country road trip. And they hit somewhere in the Rockies, and they hit snow. And they had windshield wiper fluid that was Florida windshield wiper fluid, not antifreeze windshield wiper fluid. And so when that windshield wiper fluid went on the windshields, it froze solid. They couldn't see a thing. So that is a good point. If you have Florida windshield wiper fluid, and there's a good chance you do, if you're out there on Saturday night or Sunday morning, if you use it and it's 25 or 22 degrees out, that's going to freeze on your windshield. I'm not saying to change it because it's one day. I'm just saying be aware of that. That is something to remember. Ocala flurries. Nicole wants to know. Absolutely possible. I cannot answer anybody if in a particular city where there will be flurries or not. What I believe is that there will be some flurries out there Saturday night, and my daughter and I, and probably my son, and maybe your friends, we're going to be out there looking for them. And I'll probably be streaming live as I do it. So there you go. Allie and Jason, I am too. We're going to be chasing. All right? They don't let me chase hurricanes anymore because I'm too old. Like, the old guy would hurt himself, might hurt his back or something, whatever. So Did I tell you guys the story when I was chasing Hurricane Rita? This is a great story. All right, nothing to do. I'm going to tell you this story since we're on it. This is a good story. So I'm in Beaumont, Texas, 2005, and we're chasing Hurricane Rita, Cat 5, okay? And after it hit, we were the first crew out there. We went to our neighborhood, and there were trees down everywhere, everywhere. It was bad. Everybody had evacuated, though, because it was post-Katrina. And luckily, they didn't wait around like a lot of folks did with Katrina. So there were trees on houses and this and that. So I was doing live cut-ins for Good Morning America. And I went up on our photographer and our grip. His name was Joe Pop. Joe Pop's like, Dennis, you should go up on that tree up there. It was about maybe 10 feet off the ground, I guess, and stand up on that tree. Well, by then the winds were done, and mostly done. And I'm thinking, all right, that'd probably be a good shot, because you start close up on you, and then you pull out, and you're on this tree, and this tree is like this up on a house or whatever. So I get up. I'm like, all right, good idea. So I'm holding the microphone, right? It was still blowing a little bit, not terrible, but a little bit. So what I thought I would do is take my right foot and slide it. The tree was it was a big tree, about this thick, right? So what I did is I took my right foot and put it underneath the bottom of the tree, so I was kind of wedged, right? But that way I wasn't going to fall because I was pretty much wedged. So I'm doing this live shot, and I was on for, 90 seconds. And then all of a sudden, right after the hit ended, we had a gust of wind. And I felt myself lose my balance as it was pushing me back. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to break my leg, because my leg was underneath and like wedged to keep myself from falling, right? So I'm there and I feel myself start to go. And what happened, instead of my leg snapping, I literally did a 180, and I'm hanging upside down from this tree about 10 feet off the ground. And Joe Pop, our grip, who was a production guy, Joe Pop now works somewhere in Hillsborough County with the school system, teaching kids on what to do. Anyway, Joe Pop runs over as I'm hanging there 10 feet off the ground, head down, running there, and took the microphone out of my hand so the mic would not hit the water below me, and left me dangling there. And it took Tim Jones and Eugene and Eric Moore to run over there and grab me and keep me from falling and breaking my neck. So the moral of the story is, that is why they don't send me out to chase storms anymore, because now at my age, I don't even know what would have happened. So anyway, there you go. Marilyn, you always ask the most interesting cities. You asked one place in Massachusetts, one place in Connecticut. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is the latest blend right here. Covering your pipes is going to be really challenged, guys. Honestly, just leave the water going a little bit. It's all you got to do. It's all you got to do. So there is the latest blend, and all of it is pretty much just, light snow, non-accumulating snow. And that's pretty much it, all right? Tomorrow, I'm telling you, Gasparilla it's not going to be the first half of Gasparilla will not be as bad as I think a lot of people are expecting, because they think it's going to be super cold. And it's going to be cold, but not nearly as cold. Look, the real cold stuff is Saturday night and Sunday morning, period. I'll show it to you again. The real cold stuff comes in Saturday night, when there's an extreme cold watch and a freeze watch, which will be warnings. Temps go down as low as 20 degrees, wind chills down to single digit. And that's it. Smithfield, Virginia. Oh my heavens, I do not know where Smithfield, Virginia even is. But you know what? I will look, because let's go ahead and look at that blizzard. Let's go ahead and call that up, actually, for the folks who are interested in what's going on up into the Carolinas. So here's the GFS, all right? And there's your 540 line, freezing line. This is the GFS. So I don't know where Smithfield is, but if you look at this map, maybe you'll be able to know. Hold on, let me Google. Since you asked and I happened to notice it, let's see where Smithfield, Virginia is. I got to go to Krispy Kreme, guys, and pick up. I ordered donuts. They have like a Chocomania deal going on. Smithfield, Virginia. Oh, it's southeast of Richmond. Ooh, now that's an interesting spot. They could get a lot of snow. I mean, I would not be so. Ooh, I'm intrigued by that one because that's not going to be rain. That's going to be snow. Gosh, I would say they're probably going to get. Well, okay. Here's something else you guys might know. I mean, they're probably going to get 6 inches of snow, but here's the thing that you might not know. Blizzard conditions do not have to be a ton of snow. Blizzard conditions are visibility issues with high wind and heavy snow. You can have blizzard conditions with 2 or 3 inches of snow, but if you have 50-mile-an-hour winds and super cold air and visibility is down to 0, that is a blizzard. And I think when people think blizzard, they think day after tomorrow stuff, you know, where there's 5,000 feet of snow. No, you know what? Let's Google the definition of blizzard. I think it's like maybe an inch an hour. Blizzard definition. Let's see. I used to know this when I lived up north. A blizzard has strong winds, 35 miles an hour, and significant blowing or falling snow, reducing visibility to less than a quarter of a mile for often 3 hours, often without needing heavy new snow. It's almost like I knew what I was talking about. Back in the day when I went to Penn State, you kind of learn that stuff, but you know, you forget it after 40 years. All right, so well, they're going to close. I would think they would close the Skyway, Kathy. I'm not privy to any information, but I would think they would. Hey, let's go back and look at the. Let's look at the GFS again. So there's the GFS, and it stays away from the Mid-Atlantic, stays away from the southern New England, Jersey, New York. This is just a Carolina thing. Now let's look at the Euro. Oh boy, the Euro is identical, to quote my cousin Vinny. It absolutely is. Maybe the Euro goes a little bit. No, it is. Look at that, man. Those models are both right on it. So this is not going to snow in the Delmarva. The worst of this is going to be from Charleston through the Carolinas. Now, some people were asking me about Boone, which is in western North Carolina. The problem with Boone is it isn't that it's going to get as much snow. The problem is you got to drive on 95 and go through there to get to Boone. So you're going to kind of be going through some of this stuff, right? You're going to be going through it to get to Boone. I mean, I would guess, I've not looked at it at all, but I would guess Boone's probably, 6 to 8 inches, maybe, if that. Let me see, because they really are, hold on. They really are on the west side of this. Let's see what Boone's saying. 3 to 5, yeah. So there you go. No, 1 to 2 plus 3 to 5, 6 to 8, boom. So yeah, that makes sense. But yet, eastern North Carolina, they're going to get a foot of snow. They will get a foot of snow. All right, let me see. I think that's about it, guys. I really do. I think that's about it. No freeze warnings in Pinellas County. Yeah, okay, let's go over the warnings again. All right? In fact, you know what? Let me call up the Weather Services page because it can be helpful. Here, I'm going to go ahead and call their page up. All right, here we go. This is the National Weather Service page. Because they're the ones who technically issue the warnings. You're very welcome, Brandy. All stars go to Children's Miracle Network. I do want to build a snowman, Laura. I just don't think there's going to be enough snow. There will be no thunder snow, Alex. Englewood South, I would not expect anything. I just wouldn't. I think it's too far south. Okay, so here we go. There is the dark blue is the extreme cold freeze warning. That's the dark blue. That's everybody but Pinellas, Western Manatee, Western Sarasota, where there will be a hard freeze with temperatures as low as 20 degrees and wind chills 10 or below. Single-digit wind chills, all right? These are the three. You've got your gale warning, which is the winds, which we covered. In fact, I did show you that. Here, we can go ahead and show you on here, too. These are our graphics. You got your gale warning, winds 30 to 40, gusting to 45 from the morning to Sunday morning. Sunday, the winds will subside. They will not be a big deal for the game on Sunday night. The extreme cold warning is with that wind chill down to single digits, and that is the dark purple color. All right? The freeze warning is everybody except for Pinellas, Western Manatee, and Western Sarasota County. Got it? But Pinellas is under a cold weather advisory, so that means wind chills down into the 20s, but just not as cold as the other areas. Okay. Ashley wants to know what time this. Let's look at Futurecast one more time. We'll go through our high-resolution model. We'll do it one more time. Let's go through the actual forecast for you. Again, the extreme cold, the freeze warning, the cold weather advisory. All right, there are some showers out in the Gulf right now, right? See them? It's the leading edge of all this. So right now, temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Tampa, cloudy, 63 degrees. Winds off the Gulf at 5 miles an hour. Couple of showers, the leading edge moving in. Here is a look at Futurecast. Stephanie goes, but where is Tampa? See, these are the comments that I love. These are why I love you people. These are why I love y'all. It just is. Because you guys get it. And there's a few who don't, and there's a few, crusty people who just want to complain about everything and whatever. And one or two are even meteorologists around. But, ultimately, it's just, this is the fun stuff when we're talking about a little bit of possible snowflakes, It's just kind of fun. It's better than just sitting around. The cold is bad, and the extreme cold is worrisome. It really is. And those are two different animals. But when we're talking just about a couple of snowflakes and people are asking, where's it going to snow? It's just fun. Live a little. 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, noon, 1 o'clock, still some showers around. But I want you to look at something. And I'll tell you again, even look at 2:30. Look out in the Gulf. You're already beginning to see a change over to snow in that northern fringe of the precip shield. See that? See it up there? 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, even 5:30. Look what it does. It actually shows something across our area. I don't think so. It's too warm at that point. But again, the thinking is as the cold air comes in, the atmosphere will dry out. But the thought is there's a big enough difference between the Gulf temperature and the air aloft to create enough instability for the atmosphere to squeeze some moisture out in the form of flurries. That is the thinking. That's the way the models are. These chances are probably only 20, 30%, so they're not high. Do not expect anything widespread. It's Florida, but certainly the chance exists. That's what a lot of us are hoping for. All right, 10 o'clock, you see, look at, and again, could be anywhere. I say this again, there's no way to predict where this will pop. Just like, liken it to our afternoon thunderstorms in the summertime. You can kind of have an idea it would move from west to east or east to west or whatever the case may be. But does anybody really know exactly where those showers are going to pop? No. And this is similar. It's a completely different setup, but it's the similar thinking. And then 11 o'clock, see, you just see some development. And then midnight, a few more. Now, this model is showing the best chances are Pinellas South, because north of that, the cold air is pushing in and that dries out. The colder it is, the drier it becomes. So for this to happen, it will require the atmosphere to get cold enough right on the fringe before it gets too cold and there's just not enough moisture for there to be flurries. And that's really what it boils down to. I'll tell you, like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., look at all that action out in the Gulf. And then it starts to move onshore and then out of here. And that's it. That is it. Yeah, I call it Gulf effect snow, Jim, but it's all the same. I mean, it's verbiage. So there it is. So here's what our plan is, all right? Tomorrow, Jason's in. Greg has been all over this as well. Greg's been having the time of his life. I've not seen this side of Greg before. Greg is usually, we have a group thread. We have a group text thread for the weather department. And I'll usually throw something out there. Hey, did you see the JFS? And Greg's like, no. Or, hey, did you see this? No. In this particular event, Greg has been like, yeah, look at this. And he did a snow dance with AI on his page that just was hysterical. So Greg is seeing the light. That, you know what? I'm going to say, this is my opinion, then we're going to call it a night, and we'll be back tomorrow with more updates and live hits overnight if there's anything out there. This is my take. People can get the weather wherever they want to. Still drives me crazy when I hear my daughter in her room, hey Siri, what's the weather going to be like? I'm like, Ryan, I'm right here, Ryan. You know, drives me crazy. But people can get the weather wherever they want to get it. And they often do, right? I mean, you know y'all do. You look on your phones, you ask Siri, you ask Alexa, whatever. That is the world we live in. And anybody, a meteorologist or anybody else who denies that is deluding themselves. So, what makes us human enough to make somebody want to get the weather from us? Whether it's on social, whether it's on streaming, in my opinion, it's because they're a real person. And because they pull back the curtain a little bit and show their family, or they show their excitement if there's going to be snow, or they show when a hurricane's coming their empathy for the fear that people are going through, or whatever the case may be. They're people. And in my opinion, that's what gets people to watch or follow and be loyal. I believe, and there's guys out there, and I'm not, that I've seen in the last couple of days, just completely convinced on trying to science this up about why none of this is going to happen. You're missing the point, guys. People can get the weather anywhere. People at home, they want to have somebody who they feel like they're a friend or somebody they can trust. And that, in my opinion, is the only way the television stays relevant, because we all know AI is a thing now. We all know the stuff that's going on out there. So being somebody who is there when you need them, being somebody who's there 24/7 when you depend on them, someone you trust, someone you grew up with, whatever the case may be, you are a person that someone turns to when it hits the fan. This is not one of those times for snow, but this is certainly one of those times to be a little more human and be like, wow, this is cool. That's my opinion. So it served me pretty well over the last couple of decades, and hopefully it'll serve me well for a few more decades. We'll see how it goes. You never know. So that's where we are, guys. I think we've covered it all. This repeats if you want to go back and see some of the, the forecasting and whatnot. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tonight at 11. Hopefully you tune in. And we'll be back tomorrow throughout the day, as well as if there's something that pops tomorrow. If it does, we will be out there trying to chase it. And if not, we'll be sad, but we'll still be dealing with tomorrow night's cold. Remember, single-digit wind chills on Sunday morning. Tomorrow night, leave the faucets dripping a little bit. Leave the outside dripping a little bit. Know where your water shutoff is. Bring in the pets, because this will be the coldest morning we have seen since 2010. You guys have a great night. Thanks for the loyalty. Thanks for hanging in there with me. And we will see you on our next edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.